Hey, everybody. Evan Kirstel here. Super excited for this chat with an IBM fellow and CT of IBMZ's software group. Kyle, how are you?
I'm doing great, Evan. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm always intrigued by IBM and what's the latest and greatest coming out of IBM. So super excited to have you here today. Why don't we start with introductions? You have a long and really distinguished career with IBM. If we go right back to the beginning from your UC Davis and Stanford days in computer science, maybe give us a little tour of your career with IBM to the present.
Oh my goodness, sure. Yeah, undergrad UC Davis, grad school at Stanford, both fantastic universities, might I add. And from there, I joined IBM right out of the gates. And it's funny at the time. The general consensus was, on average, your first it's gonna take you 3 jobs to find the one you're gonna land at. At least back then. And apparently, I got lucky and I found the one job. And so I've been there ever since, and I spent a lot of time. Most of my time has been in Z, to be honest with you, right? I was joined in kind of the e-business era, and my focus was on bringing standard frameworks and technology patterns to our platform. So I started with the team that really brought Java and Java SDKs to our platform, and it was specifically in the IMS space, and really brought Java development frameworks, brought a JDBC driver, brought SQL support to our platform. From there, went on to sort of like lead the API economy, and how do we really make sure that we are at the intersection of cloud and on-prem with consuming APIs and producing APIs. And then from there, kind of rolled into the CTO role, where I kind of help oversee our technical strategy and direction for all of IBM software. So it's been quite a journey. It's amazing. I'm still happy to be here.
Oh, well, your enthusiasm is infectious. And you've seen a lot, but you've seen a lot around challenges facing large enterprise, in particular, global enterprise. Um, how do you think about those obstacles? What are some of the one, two, three top obstacles that you think we're facing today with moving forward, and also looking back at technical debt and application modernization and all the
Oh,
challenges that enterprise IT faces?
for sure. I mean, I'll tell you, right, in our space, the space that I deal mostly in, the platform is honestly one of the most modern platforms on the planet, right? These
Mm,
capabilities are insane from a silicon on up. The challenges that our clients face largely are around modernization of the actual applications themselves, right? These applications have been around for decades, literally for decades. And one of the things that we're super proud of about our platform is that you can have an application that was written 40 years ago that can still
mm,
run today. The problem is you can't have an application that was written 40 years ago that still runs today. And what I mean by that is, over the longevity that we're so proud of, there's been so many different authors that each have their own architectural voices, each have their own
mm,
design voices. And so much has been added to these applications over time. And a lot of times it's not known from somebody adding a new function that function actually previously existed. And so you kind of have this layering of these applications, and we call it a monolith. It's not a negative term; it's a reality of something that's lived for. I've seen Java monoliths that are only 15
mm,
years old, for crying out loud,
mm.
right? It exists in every language. And so one of the big problems around modernization is really kind of agility and speed to market, right? And ability to react to the demands of the market, the demands of the business. And that's really why, like, generative AI has become such a focal right now in what we're doing and how we're addressing and augmenting that developer productivity, and certainly increasing the talent pool for skills, right? I mean, like I said, we've had Java on our platform for over 20, 25 years now.
Mm.
Amazing for Java. But we can do more, right? We can do more for those clients that really want sort of that full stack developer of, full stack COBOL expertise, Java expertise, all working together to provide that enterprise capabilities for their business.
Yeah, and you talk to CIOs every day in your role. I'd love to be a fly on the wall, by the way. I'm sure it'd be fascinating. What are some of the one, two, three top compelling reasons you're hearing that they want to allocate resources to this project of application modernization? What are they telling you?
I mean, honestly, it really does come down to those two things. I'd say the top two are consistently skills and agility. And from a
Mm,
skill standpoint, to be very clear, it's not that, hey, we don't have certain skills. It's not that at all. It's they actually want to bring more skills to the platform. And so they're maniacally interested in things like, hey, you guys are doing a lot on Ansible. Like, I want to bring,
mm,
I have a very large Ansible and Python talent pool. right? I want to bring that and point those at Z for automation in that space, right?
Mm.
I have a really large, Java development organization across the enterprise. I want to bring those developers to work on our Z platform, right? So how can you help me accelerate the motions in those spaces, right? Everything we're doing around app mod is helping to accelerate all of sort of, I don't want to call them new skills, but I think all the skills that are still dominant in the market today. I mean, Java is really old, right? It's been 1997 for crying out loud,
Right.
right? Even 96, right? But it still dominates the enterprise market. Ansible and Python are dominating kind of the IT automation market. And so the ability, and what CIOs talk to me about a lot is, I have all these skills. I want to unlock them so I can just point them at the Z platform and have them go and scream, right? And so what our focus is on maniacally is enabling that motion to actually happen. And then augmenting that motion with Gen AI. Like, how can we make that even better?
No, I love that. It's an interesting approach. So you've personally witnessed a big chunk of the computing revolution. Not all of it. You're not that old, but from the PC era to client server, whatever we call that, through to the cloud era. But a lot of the press and media equate modernization with moving to public cloud. I mean, given all the hype there. So, talk about IBM, squarely in the hybrid cloud camp,
Yeah,
and the
very
benefits,
squarely.
advantages, and the realities of that versus what you see in the press a lot,
Absolutely,
which
right?
is,
I
yeah.
mean, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, 2015, 2016, where, even IBM had a point of view that
Mm,
shared the market point of view that was public cloud is the destination, right? That wasn't too long ago. I would say there's been a seismic shift in the market, and at IBM certainly, where hybrid actually is the destination. It's not like a rest
mm.
stop on the way to pure public. It is the destination now, and the market and our clients are saying the same thing. They're echoing the very same thing to me when I speak with them, because when it comes down to it, right? What does every platform do? Whether it's a public cloud platform, a private cloud platform, like an on-prem platform, right? It's about, I got business services, I got data services. How do I make them accessible? Like, at scale and mass at large, right? And
Mm.
so that is exactly what we're doing with our platform, is making those services business services. By business services, I mean, our equivalent, our app servers are like, IMS and CICS, and then certainly there's a lot of batch workload. Those are the business services. How do we make those available for consumption from external sources, right? From cloud applications. And then similarly, our data services. How to make those available and easily consumable, like restfully? How do we do that like super, super simple? Then how do we consume those same services? Because Z is not like the end of a cul-de-sac, right? It's
Mm.
a platform like any other. We want to consume services as well, not just deliver services. So from a hybrid perspective, you can scale, our clients can scale immediately, embracing this sort of form factor, right? This sort of topology, because you're not sitting there saying what you just described, Evan, was, oh, we'll show you how to modernize. It's migrate here and then we'll start modernizing, right? The
Right, right.
challenge, the absolute challenge with that is that simple playbook of, oh, let's migrate. It's not simple. There's a huge amount of risk. You're taking this tech stack and moving it there with zero innovation, and that's going to take several years. And even after several years, you've only done the smallest of migration capabilities. And then you realize all the issues that are occurring with that. Instead, the approach that we're taking, and honestly, that the hyperscalers are taking now working with us, are, hey, let's scale day one. Let's actually have these platforms work together so that we can actually integrate all of our collective business and data services together in support of digital transformation, in support of mobile channels, in support of whatever we want to deliver to our internal consumers or external consumers. Let's partner and just make that work. Because frankly, most of our clients have multiple cloud providers anyway. What are they doing? They're leveraging the services that they all provide, right? So that's precisely what we're doing, and why hybrid is really, really taking off. And it's allowing our clients to scale day one, as opposed to dealing with the challenges of migration.
Yeah, that's such a great point. So we both had long tech careers, and certainly anyone who's been in tech multiple decades has a couple of seminal moments they remember. And a couple of those were IBM's, Watson's triumph in the Jeopardy tournament. That was like such a key memory of mine in tech history. And the other, of course, was Deep Blue and Kasparov. Um,
Oh, yeah.
but you haven't been standing still at IBM, and you've come a long way, and particularly as of the last number of years, have doubled down on AI advancement and innovation, coming from not just from research, from the various business units. Talk about that journey and Watson X, which is kind of the big new kid on the block as far as AI in the enterprise goes.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I've been at this company, a while now, as you well know, and I can tell you, as far as seminal moments, this is probably, I would have to say, easily. No offense to everyone I've worked with, but easily probably the most exciting solution space I've ever worked on. I mean, it's remarkable what we can do here with generative AI, and
Mm,
what IBM Research has done, and our partnership with IBM Research, what we've done together to really, the solution Watson X Code Assistant, right? Just went live, went GA last week in October, right? So it's Watson X Code Assistant for Red Hat Ansible Lightspeed, and Watson X
mm,
Code Assistant for Z, right? These are our first two use cases in the generative AI space. Many more to come, certainly. But as far as seminal moments, like, just ridiculously exciting about what we can do there to really augment developer productivity. Like, this is AI assisted, right? We're not taking over. The AI is not going to be a developer, right? It's AI
mm,
assisted. They're going to work hand in hand with the developer, but it's really going to accelerate their journey moving forward. And we have a code large language model that's 20 billion parameters, right? 1.6
mm.
trillion tokens, 115 languages, right? That's our foundational model that IBM Research has been working on for a number of years, and now we're just tapping right into that with a couple of real, very tuned models that are sitting right on top of that in support of this journey. So we talk seminal moments, like, this is it for me. Like, I mean, I hope there's more, right? I certainly hope there's more seminal moments, but this is an amazing one. It's crazy exciting for all of us.
Yeah, it's a big one, and for someone who's always geeked out on IBM research technology, even as an outsider, always been fascinated by what they're up to in silicon and software and now AI and the patent portfolio, just so many amazing things going on there. So describe the collaboration between you and IBM Research. Give us some perspective on that synergy and exactly what that partnership looked like to drive code modernization together.
Absolutely, right. I've had the privilege and luxury of being able to partner with them on
Mm,
several strategic sort of endeavors, and they're a phenomenal group of folks, right? I mean, they are what you expect them to be, right?
mm,
They are researchers at their core. They are excellent at getting quick prototypes up and running, so we can measure them, we can look at them, we can make strategic business decisions based on the outlook of their prototypes. And that's exactly what happened here, right? They were working on this code LLM, really getting it richer and richer and richer. And then they pulled us in and said, "Hey, look, we think we have an opportunity, right? We have an opportunity around this modernization space. What do you think?" And obviously we thought, yes, please, right? And so we started working with them, and we're still working with them to this day. We still work with them. Like, they don't just say, "Hey, here's a prototype, chuck it over the fence and walk away," right? They are committed to this and committed to the success of this. So we are continuing to work with them. We're continuing to evaluate optimizations that we can do. We're continuing to evaluate new sort of capabilities within the solution that we want to bring forward. And we're doing this together as one team. It's not like there's a separator between the two teams. We're together on the same squads. And that relationship, I think, is really, really special, because we know them as individuals and as colleagues, right? And so it's really fun to be able to operate in that space where we have a team of folks that we know are doing great R&D. And when they think they got something, they'll come let us know, and then we work with them, we evaluate it, and we go, and we hit the ground running and running really hard. And so it's been a great partnership with research, and it's going to continue, and it's only great. It's only great for our clients, and great for IBM, certainly.
yeah, well, it's amazing to watch. Let's talk about COBOL. It was the first and last programming language I worked with. It's been a, it's been a while, 1992. So, talk about modernizing legacy COBOL applications. What are the challenges specifically, and are you going to really turbo boost this effort with
Yeah,
Watson X?
it's so true, and I know that so much of what I've talked about, and so much, what I've been excited about on today, has been around kind of generative AI and the use of
Mhm,
AI to augment modernization. The solution that we developed is so much more than AI. Like, AI,
mm,
certainly, I would say, is the heartbeat of it. But what's really important is we've got an entire modernization lifecycle built around kind of this core strength of AI. And it's really around, you mentioned COBOL has been around for such a long time, which is great, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but it
Mhm.
comes with the challenge I described earlier with multiple authors, multiple voices, duplicate code during redundant operations they don't really see. So our modernization motion starts with understand, step one, right? Let's help our clients understand. We have a bunch of scanner technology that'll go and look at
Mhm.
all this code across the entire
Oh, wow.
enterprise. And then it's amazing. And then say, okay, here are all of the module dependencies. Here are all the data dependencies. We give a nice graphical depiction of all of this, right? Then we have net new, that's a part of this net new solution I just talked about. It's called refactoring assistant. That'll allow, so these monoliths again over time have 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 different discrete services all embedded in one giant
Oh,
application.
wow.
What refactoring assistant does is allow our clients to really tease out and extract a very specific, very tightly scoped COBOL business service. So now you're sort of helping with like taking this, sort of like decomposing this giant application into really like parts that make sense, that they're a full entity of a COBOL service. Now, this is where there's a ton of value in that, right? I mean, our clients are like, wow, if you can just give me that, which we can, like, I'm amazed, right? This is going to really
Mm.
help so I can be more agile, because if I tug on this, I'm not pulling 30 different threads along with it anymore because it's a discrete service. But where Gen AI comes in is for those clients that say, you know what, my strategic direction for the enterprise is Java, right? Many clients say it's COBOL. Fantastic. COBOL is as much the feature of our platform as is Java, as is PL1, right? But for those clients that say, you know what, Java really is my strategic direction. Well, that's where Gen AI comes in, right? We've tuned that model, right, to understand how to take COBOL and actually generate well-formed, object-oriented Java as an output from inference to the model, right? So there's the value there. This is done dramatically different than how it's done in market today, which is largely rules-based, largely a line-by-line syntax translation, where you end
Wow.
up with basically COBOL expressed in Java syntax. Doesn't look
Mm.
good at all. It's actually quite gross. We've actually had clients that they're Java trained professionals, can't maintain that Java code. They've actually had to go back and learn COBOL to write COBOL to regenerate Java. Like
Wow.
I say this all the time. It's like 4GL nightmare, right?
Right.
But so let's understand, that's refactor, then that's transform, and then finally we do validation. So we actually auto generate test cases to make sure that the COBOL is working as designed, that the transform Java service is working as designed, right? And we do all this together in summation. That's really kind of the modernization lifecycle that we bring to the table with the solution. And that's why it's so I'll use the word seminal again because I love that word, right? Because it's so much more than just AI. It's taking that AI heartbeat and just building an entire modernization motion that surrounds it that actually makes a ton of sense. And this is what's exciting our clients worldwide, because they can do this at their own rate and pace. It's not you have to take
Mm.
this entire giant COBOL application and in one stop convert it all to Java. No, you convert just pieces of it that makes sense to you in Java. We have technology. We are experts in interoperating between COBOL and Java in the same transaction unit of work on the Z platform. So all those existing COBOL services will interoperate with those brand new Java services, all managed in the same unit of work, right? Huge value there, so they can do it at their own rate and pace. I'm rambling a bunch here, Evan. I'll stop there, but that's why the solution excites me, because I think the whole modernization motion around it is what's phenomenal.
No, it's intriguing and fascinating to watch. Um, how do you stay on top of the technology personally as a IBM fellow and as a CTO? There's just a tsunami every day of new industry events, innovation, R&D happening across the industry. What's your process for assimilating and taking on all these developments? I'm just an
Yeah,
observer. You're actually a practitioner. What's your process?
yeah, you just hit near and dear to my heart. I am absolutely right, a developer at heart.
Mm,
That's what I love. That's what honestly what motivates me. Well,
mm,
I should say what motivated me every day. And I still love it. And so, if all I had to do in my job was just read a lot to learn a lot, that would be a little bit boring.
Yeah.
I do like to get definitely involved. Like I'll sign up to write demos, right? Because that's how I can stay
Wow.
active, learning, making sure I
Nice.
understand the new language, the new capabilities, right? So, I haven't honestly contributed code to actually a software deliverable
Hmm.
in a bit of time now, which is
That can be
sad to me.
dangerous. So yeah,
Yeah, it's sad to
never
me.
know.
But I certainly do make sure that I stay on top of actually developing code. Now it might just be demo code. It might be code reviews. It might be. I'll tell you what. Right now, stay tuned to your television in the coming weeks because you might be seeing some information pop up on your TV about what we just talked about today with Code Assistant.
Hmm.
And in that ad, there is some code in that ad, and I was certainly helpful in kind of as part of the demos that we're building, kind of contributing to what we're going to see coming up and on the airwaves, hopefully in due time. But in that actually that goes to how the excitement that this is generating again around the world that IBM is looking at doing something like this for something that's around Watson X Code Assistant for the Z use case, which is pretty remarkable as well. But I know it's a long answer to a short question, right?
No,
I mean,
I love it. Roll your sleeves up.
I try to
Get
stay engaged and stay involved because if I'm just reading, learning, it's not gonna cut it for
Yeah,
me.
and just reading the headlines in the Wall Street Journal is not that's not really getting your hands dirty. Okay,
No,
the ink
that
maybe
doesn't
the
put me
ink
out of
gets
bed
on
every day.
your hands, but really good points. Do you have any travel? Any trips? I know you're traveling all the time. Anything noteworthy you wanted to call out,
So a lot
industry
of yeah,
wise or otherwise?
I've been traveling like I've always traveled more than I wanted to. Now I'm traveling even more than I wanted to. I want to think it's because they want to talk to me, but the reality is they want to learn more about the solutions that we're working on around
Right.
application modernization in general, not just Watson X Code Assistant, but everything we're doing on the Z platform around AppMod. So a lot of travel, international and local. Upcoming, I mentioned to you earlier, I'm going to Boston in a few weeks to talk with a couple of clients specifically about Watson X Code Assistant. I was in Zurich recently. I was in
Oh, IBM
Budapest. Talk
Switzerland,
about it.
amazing group.
Yeah, I travel to New York often enough because that's sort of like the kind of where the stronghold is
Mm.
for kind of a central meeting place for a lot of our clients worldwide and us. So I have to say I pay taxes to New York State. I travel there so much. So
My
there's
condolences. Well,
yeah,
California and
no,
New York taxes
exactly.
together.
Yep,
That's quite a
yep.
duo. What about switching off? Now, what do you do to get away from it all? Get away from the terminal, get away from the keyboard, uh, friends and family, tune off,
Oh yeah,
tune out.
obviously I got two phenomenal kids.
Nice.
Yeah, my wife and I got, 17-year-old daughter, 14-year-old son, like just watching them grow up and being a part of their lives is amazing and awesome. Our daughter actually still likes to hang out with us, which is pretty cool. She's got a lot of, I'm in my room alone time, but she will wander down and absolutely hang out with us, which is pretty cool. So that's a big part. I love to read. So I wind down reading a lot now, not reading to make me smarter. No, reading. I love epic fantasy.
Oh,
So
lovely.
I
Nice.
love like long epic fantasy series. So I like to just immerse myself in that quite a bit, which is great. And then getting outdoors, like I've been doing trail running for a number of years now, and I
Oh,
still
wow.
really,
Nice.
really enjoy getting out there, especially after like a fresh rain. I mean, I'm in California in the Bay Area. We just got some fresh rain, and so getting out this afternoon, it just brings up so many smells and stuff. So might sound silly, but I love getting out and doing that. So I'd say,
No, it's the
you know,
best place to think and ideate is
yeah,
outside and in the fresh air. I love
yep,
that
yeah, I
approach. It's
love
been
it.
really fun, our chat, Kyle. Thanks so much for joining and giving us a little snapshot into the future here. And I think there's so much more ahead of us. Thanks for
Thank
your
you so much
time.
for your time. I super appreciate it.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for watching. Reach out to Kyle and the team at Z for any questions you might have. They're really fun to engage with on social. Take care, everyone.